And we're back. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Secrets of the Pact World panel. My name is Thurston Hillman. I am the Managing Creative Director for Starfinder, and I have with me the amazing people who bring you Starfinder with me. We're going to go through a whole panel today talking about new exciting announcements, some of the future plans for Starfinder, where we're at. But before we do all of that, I guess I should get my fellow panelists to introduce themselves. We'll go left to right on my side of things. This is a game we play every one of our weekly meetings as to who gets to talk first. We're repeating it here live for you. But I'll pick on Jenny first.
Hello. I am Jenny Jarzabski. I am the senior developer working on Starfinder. Primarily, I work on adventure paths, but I am also part of our fantastic Star Friends meetings where we come up with all sorts of fun lore and bounce rules off one another and all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm just here to be part of the team and bring you some cool adventures.
Hi, I'm Jessica Catalan. I am the organized playline developer for the Starfinder Society. So I'm in charge of creating all the cool adventures for our Starfinder Society and Starfinder Bounties lines.
My name is Dustin Knight. I am the developer for Starfinder with a focus on the rules. FAQs, rules, all the character options, you name it. Plus, I also get to participate in all the awesome Star Friends chats and discuss lore and tidbits and all those other cool things. So, yeah.
And then there's me. You saw me already, but hi, it's me. It's Thirsty. I am the managing creative director for Starfinder, and that means I'm the person who is responsible for the creative vision of Starfinder and the brand, as well as the people manager for two of the folks in these rooms. Jessica is over on the narrative side, so we take Jessica on loan. She's like kind of we're pulling her in because she's basically part of the team. This is Nostralamus. He will make predictions about the future of Starfinder as things go on. But we had some announcements already. Trust me, we're gonna go back to Nostralamus. There'll be some predictions. He will give us the true lore of what's happening with Starfinder later on. But we're gonna start about an announcement that we made just during our keynote, which is weird because Jenny and I recorded that last week and now we're back, but it was like aired just a little bit ago. It's very strange. Also, the raccoon moved closer to the camera on Jenny's screen. Very good. All right.
What are you talking about? There's no raccoon here in front of me. What?
Never. Okay. No space raccoons. They don't exist. Jenny, tell us about Mechageddon, and let's start by seeing that cover art that is so amazing for it. That we showed.
It's so good. I want to see it again.
Yeah, yes. Look at it.
Oh god, I love art. It's so awesome. It's everything that we ever dreamed it would be. And we have to thank our artists and our amazing art department for making this possible, because we can write art orders, but they're the ones who actually, draw this stuff and make it happen. So yeah.
This one was by Mirko Paganesi. Just amazing work.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Mechageddon is the name of our upcoming mech adventure path. You will be fighting outside of mechs, but primarily it is a mech-based adventure. So lots going on with the tech revolution mech rules. So if you are wanting to play some mechs, you should probably check that book out if you haven't already. Get yourself up to speed before this comes out. What is it? Next year is we're going for spring of 2024. Is that right, Thirsty? Is that the
2024? Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got about a year to brush up on your mech rules before you got to suit up. But I am super excited. It is a hardcover adventure path, so it's going to be all together, 3 long-form adventures that connect together, and 4 side jobs, which are going to be like little quests, all in one book, plus more reference material and extra rules.
Yeah,
so
I'm so excited.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I'm so excited for it. It's just such a neat and different AP from what we've done in the past.
It is. Actually, some cool things about it are with the high level ranges and the mech combat, we're going to try out using milestone leveling. And there is some information for how you can, if you don't care for milestone leveling, how you can get, you can count XP. There's some options there, but The milestone allows us to be more focused on the narrative and making each level and each part of the adventures flow and really shine rather than worrying about tracking XP. You're going to have other stuff to worry about when you're GMing this, so we want to make it easy for you. And I also want to talk about our authors, because obviously I'm the person who outlined this, and a lot of help from the rest of the team and other folks internally, but we have some really awesome people that are super passionate about mechs who we got together to write this. So a lot of these names you'll probably recognize as some of our Starfinder Rockstar authors. So starting out with Volume 1, we have Joe Blomquist writing that. He kind of came in to get us off to a great start. Part 2 transitions over to Dennis Muldoon, another one of our very stellar authors you'll recognize, especially if you are an org player. And then last but not least, on the adventure side, we have Rigby Bendel taking Volume 3, which they brought a really cool perspective and some really wild stuff to that volume. I wish I could spoil it, but it's amazing. And then we have some awesome back matter authors. Like I mentioned, we're going to have 4 side jobs, little quest scenarios you can run throughout the adventure, or just do as one-shots. We also have new mechs and new kaiju and other threats, and those are written by some other great authors. Kate Baker, we have Miko Kallio, Chris Wasco, Nick Wasco, Diego Valdez, and Anthony Dollinger. So we've got a solid cast of folks who were part of this, not to mention our editors, our artists, the other devs and designers who pitched in to help with this. So I'm so excited about what this group brought to the table, and I can't wait till you get to see it.
Yeah, and so I saw in chat real quick. This adventure path's a bit experimental. It's going from 3rd to 18th level, but will give you 17 tier mechs, which means I think that means you're like averaging encounters is like CR 22. So for anyone who's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't go to 20. Oh no, it goes beyond 20th level threats. In fact,
Yes.
we maybe have some more art we could start showing off here. Some excellent pieces that we've got. Let's bring up the first. We got a couple here. Okay, so we obviously, if it's a mech AP, we got mechs, right?
Yes.
This piece is by Josh Ketchin. That's a big cannon, and that's a big laser sword.
It is. I think that mech brings a lot of destructive potential for the big baddies you're going to be fighting at CR 20 to 22 by the end. And as I said, we have new kaiju and threats to fight in mechs.
This one's by Sophie Medvedeva. So good. So like the cool backwash, the toxic breath, all sorts of great kaiju vibes there.
So cool.
He's so cute.
Speaking of cute,
majestic. Oh yes. Oh, I wish I could tell you more about this art. There is a story behind this. You will have to play Mechageddon or just read through it to know about this character that you will encounter.
Yeah, and then we get some other maybe different types of entities.
Yeah,
like a mech scorpion.
It is a mech, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that mech I believe is actually called a Rift Stinger. Don't quote me on that because we're still in edit times and we're still going through the production process, so things are subject to change a little. But that is actually a mech.
Well, we got another mech here. This one,
so cool.
So, is there a clock on that?
There is a clock on that. Yes. I wonder why. It's kind of weird, right?
I wonder why there would be a clock. Seems very odd. But we got one more piece of art for this little preview here. By the way, that was by Pixelated Studio, and the prior one was by Alex Arscott. This one is also by Pixelated Studio and is one of our chapter openers, if I recall correctly.
Yes, this is the chapter opener for the side jobs, and this is actually a scene that you likely will play out in one of the side jobs. I believe that one was by Miko Kallio, and there's some fun characters you're going to meet there, and some fun opportunities in mechs that aren't just shooting lasers and missiles. I mean, that's there too, but there's more to it. So I do hope you check it out.
Yeah. So, just Mechageddon seems like it's going to be such a big and impressive event. And again, it's our first hardback adventure path that really, is entirely new content. We're going to have Scoured Stars coming out, and we've had Dead Suns, but those are all sort of based on older content. Whereas this is going to be something entirely new. But when we go into something like this, one thing that's really important, I think, is you have to have good villains, right?
Oh, absolutely.
What kind of villain are we maybe looking at? Once you're getting up there, like high CR, fighting like CR 22 plus threats. I mean, what kind of stuff is in that range?
Yeah, you're gonna start out fighting kaiju, and the colossi on Daimalko definitely are. There are some that are up there in that level range. Like I know that, for instance, there are some that are already like CR 18, CR 20. So you might see some of them, obviously, but. Well, I think that we might have a certain demon lord who's coming back from people that have been around and are familiar with old Pathfinder lore might recognize a familiar name, and some of that demon lord's servants are going to be a problem for the PCs, both in mechs and out of mechs. So I think we might get to punch some demons and then some, demon lord tier threats in this AP. Just a little chance of that.
Just a little chance. Maybe it has something to do with those clocks too. But
Maybe.
I think that is a great preview for Mechageddon. We have other stuff we want to talk about
Yeah.
today, and in fact, a lot of this panel is going to be an open QA. So we're gonna try to move things along just a little bit here. But before we go, I think just Jenny's done a really great job with Mechageddon, has put in a lot of time and effort and passion into it, and it's really starting to pay off. I think that we're getting to see some of these stories, and I can't wait for you all to experience Mechageddon. It's going to be great. All right, that brings us to Dustin. You've been working on some stuff. Now you can't talk about all the stuff you're working on, Dustin, but one thing we've had you brewing in the background. How about you talk about it a bit? What have we got you been doing right now?
Oh man, so there's a comics project out right now. You might have seen on the Paizo blog and on Kickstarter for Starfinder Comics, Angels of the Drift. And there is some fun back matter there that will introduce some great new character options that you could use in our lovely game. Each issue really goes over the comic itself is very much themed after like the events during the Drift Crisis and what it's like for these planets and civilizations getting the Drift Code. What it might be like for a planet that might not have got the Drift Code when they should have, and how the servants of Triune might need to go out and help rectify this, and all the other problems along the way for our heroes, the 5 of our iconic characters. Each issue will have information about our iconics in the back, including full stat blocks, and some completely new rules elements derived from the comics themselves. Including our first issue here, which our back matter was inspired by this page that I think we have up here.
Let's pull that first comic page up there.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, so this page shows all these different civilizations getting a hold of parts of the drift code from Triune so that they learn how to, travel faster than light and without all the different methods they had prior. And one thing that caught out to me there is I saw these squawkses there with little torches reading a drift code and realized, oh wow, that sure would make a fun ancestry. So we hired the original author of the squawks, Alexander Agunas, and he wrote us up a ancestry called the Volcarisu, which is for a while I was just referring to them as awakened squawkses, but they're really more like Daikitsu's legacy on Castrovel of a fox-like ancestry that, instead of focusing on shape changing, focuses more on communication, community, being able to talk to different creatures of different types. But they do have enough of a connection with our other fox-like Daikitsu related ancestry that there's some feats that both of the species could share, to allow them to either turn into squawxes or foxes, or even grow additional tails and get some more magic powers. So I was really happy to be able to write that as my first. I developed that as my first contribution to the team. Felt a little like Christmas in December. Okay, and it was very much it felt like a freebie, a big kind of bucket list moment for me, and that was really fun. And I love what came out of this. And there's going to be a bunch of new. Every issue is going to have more awesome stuff like this. Bunch of more content for people to use. That I'm sure people are going to love. And frankly, these comics are awesome. Reading them really got me. It really goes deep into expanding these iconic characters and kind of pushing their boundaries a little, and getting into each of their little issues, and kind of progressing them as characters. It does a good job putting them in uncomfortable situations specific to their characters, and seeing how they manage to succeed despite them.
Yay! And I think we have some other covers to show for that. I think we have two example covers here. Yeah,
more art.
look at that, Angels of the Drift. Yeah, art number 1 for Angels of the Drift. And then I believe we also have a cover B as well to show with this. Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh, love that cover so much. Love that variant cover.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I love that.
Yeah, and it was so much fun going through this. They go to this uncontacted. You could read more about it in the blog, but our heroes end up going to an uncontacted planet. So there's a lot of new content from stuff that hasn't even been. We haven't had a chance to even mention in the in any other book. So you're going to get a lot of fun exclusive content, unlike anything you've seen before in the world of Starfinder.
Perfect. That's awesome. Thank you, Dustin. All right, so that brings us to the next segment of our lovely Secrets of the Pact world, sort of a prelude before we open up the floodgates for the QA. I guess what I'd like to start by saying is, we're going to talk a little bit right now about the future, and not just Starfinder being in the future, but really, the Starfinder team has undergone a bunch of changes recently. We've had some, staff departures. We've had people shift teams, so we've kind of been refocusing a lot over the past several months. Honestly, since back in September, really looking at what has been, what is Starfinder, and the team has been sitting down. We talk about our Star Friends talks, where we've been sitting down and having meetings and just looking at the setting itself, looking at where we want to explore, what we want to build upon, and we wanted to share, some of the things that we're passionate about right now. We don't have a major announcement that we're going to be diving into right now, but we want to talk to you a lot about some of the process that we're going through as a team in looking at this setting, and to assure you that there is work going on. Oh, trust me, there's a lot going on. But what we want to do right now is talk a little bit about our view of this, and where we're taking. So, we've sat down as a team over the past several months, and really kind of took a step back and looked at Starfinder as a game, what we want it to be, what's important to us. And a good example of this was we sat down and started discussing, what are brand statements we want for Starfinder. One of them that came out, which was Dustin actually, was this is a setting worth waiting for. This is something, Starfinder is kind of this lovable setting where you have Galarian world, and you have your party with your walrus person and your skittermander and your space insect traveling out together as friends. And yeah, you're going out and you're enjoying time at Galarian world, but then just across the corner there's evil space Nazis you've got to go punch in the face. And so it's really important to us that we have a game where people can have those kinds of stories where they have these things they enjoy, and then go out and also defend those things and have those adventures and those kind of traditional gaming moments. So I kind of wanted to just pass it around the horn to the team really quick to sort of, what about Starfinder as we go forward has been like really, important to you to keep in mind. And I'm going to start opposite from last time and send it over to Dustin. Dustin, like what for right now, like as we go forward with new Starfinder products, what do you think is sort of an anchor for you when you're thinking about, designing content for the game and the setting?
Well, I mean, like you said, having a setting worth fighting for means having a setting that's more than just in which characters can do more than just violence, more than just roll a violence check. Having a setting where, with the thing that I've always loved about Starfinder is we have things like guitar weapons, performance weapons, things, profession weapons, things like that, where it lets you remind your character in a very real way on their sheet, in a way that still matters for encounters and still matters for the core of our gameplay. That helps remind you that your character isn't just, you could be if you want to, but doesn't necessarily have to be the grizzled mercenary soldier who has never known a day of peace. and that's very important to me, to know that, my technomancer is a video gamer, and when I'm playing, even in encounter mode, that very much comes off as the case, or whatever you want. Because it is the future. We aren't all, either soldiers or farmers drudging on our farms. We have spare time, we have hobbies, and people like to express that.
Awesome. Jessica, what about you?
I love that nothing feels strange in Starfinder, right? Any story or adventure or plan your players come up with, any world you throw at them, any ancestry they play, citizens of the Pact worlds and the wider Starfinder galaxy, like, that's normal. They just roll with it. Like, it is a very freeing setting to work in, both professionally and as a player of our game. Like, it's just fun to be a part of, and I like embracing that and remembering that. Likewise, with Starfinder, it's freeing in the sense of the stories we can tell. Like, you can do grimdark horror and mysteries and intrigue and classic sci-fi, but a dungeon delve, or like a lighthearted comedic romp, and like, you can do anything. It is a world of potential in Starfinder, and I like making sure that we don't forget that.
Awesome. Jenny, what about you?
I mean, obviously, y'all know that I'm passionate about mechs, and I definitely agree with my coworkers that there is more to Starfinder than violence checks. Like, obviously, we're still gonna have super badass, exciting combats for you. We're gonna present that, but it is really important that your characters are fighting for a reason. Like, they are fighting so that they can protect their homeworld and other people's homeworld, so they can go back and go to Songbird Station and rock out to a concert. I am very passionate about mechs, but also about entertainment, fashion, idols in the setting, and I really want to do more with that as well, as we dig deeper into parts of this setting and show you more about just the different cultures and pop culture in Starfinder. So that's kind of what I'm excited about.
Heck yeah. So, okay. So we've sort of talked about, what our anchoring points are and what we love about the setting. Now, you're all here for like dirty behind the curtain understanding of like our meetings for the last little while. You voyeurs, we're gonna give it to you. So we've been having a lot of meetings lately and talking about things in the setting that interest us. I'm gonna give you a few toss outs and things we've been talking about in depth, because we're looking at Starfinder right now, and I've said this before in other places, but I will repeat it here. Starfinder, as a game that now has several years under it, has done a really good job of creating a broad setting. It's set out a lot of different pieces. It's set up a lot of new species. My gosh, you can play so many species in Starfinder. We've got all these civilizations. Every AP has a codex of world in it, so that's a whole new planet. So we've got like over 50 planets now. But what we as a team were discussing was this idea of going in depth to some of them. those, because a lot of times we introduce new stuff, which is great, but we don't have the ability to really dig into it. And so what we're starting to do now is looking at some of these pieces. We've kind of, the first several years have been putting pieces around the board. We're building a setting. I mean, that's what we have to do, right? But now we have all these pieces, and a lot of them are in interesting and unique places. And I think there's a couple things where we're really excited. And the start to all of this is the Drift Crisis, the event that we just wrapped up. That event has some big repercussions. You'll find that in Ports of Call, our just released hardback book, which is up on my wall. I'd grab it, but there's about 8 books in front of it, because we stack books everywhere. The life of a game writer. But in Ports of Call, we set up drift lanes as this repercussion of the Drift Crisis. These quick hop into a drift lane, get out on the other side, and you're cutting your travel time into almost nothing, and it opens up connections between points in our settings. There's impacts across the whole galaxy as a result of this. Aftermath of the drift crash event where everyone gets yeeted out of hyperspace. There are all these things that we've set up from that, and the Drift Crisis would be sort of taking that broad tapestry we've laid out of all these different species, and then kind of like you were when you were playing the tent game in elementary, just like up and down, up and down, up and down. And now we're going to see where the pieces land. We've been having a lot of fun with that. I kind of want to once again go across the horn to my coworkers here and see what they're excited about as we've done this, and what sorts of stories they're interested in exploring more. We've had a bunch of meetings on just different, like even Pact worlds, near space, all these sorts of things. I'm gonna start on the left hand side and go with Jenny first.
You just put me on the spot. So a few things that I would like to do more with. Obviously, got my Dimalco moment in Mechageddon, and thank you. I don't know if she's ever listening to this, but Amanda Hammond, you wrote that planet in Near Space, and it is beautiful, and I've always loved it, and it will get its moment in the spotlight now. Other than that, we've had some kind of like whispers of war brewing in the galaxy and around. I would really like to see some of the big, scary galactic powers maybe have some problems with one another that could affect the Pact worlds. That would be really interesting. I also am really interested in Triaxis as a planet.
Yeah, awesome. All right, let's hop it over to Dustin. There, I threw Tech a curveball. You're hopping over the middle. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, wow. All right.
Tech's trolling me. Okay.
No.
Settle on Dustin. Okay.
Oh man. Oh, so yeah, I would love to see some of the big players we've set up get a chance to do stuff. I don't want to steal 2 planets, so I'm just gonna say, actually, yeah, I want to see us do a little bit more with Eox. There's some really fascinating lore there. There's a lot of room for things to happen. Feel like we have stuff like the Corpse Fleet just floating out there waiting to do something big, more big things, and I would like to see more stuff on Eox.
We had some really cool talks on EX too. We had some really interesting plans for EOX going forward that I'm excited and can't quite talk about the specifics. But yes, EOX is very exciting. All right, Jessica, what do you got? What's exciting you right now that we might be touching on or looking at touching on in the future?
Oh, I'm going to cheat and say 2 things. So in the Pact worlds, I am super excited to take a nice close look at Octurne and shake things up and do something fun.
Yeah.
I think it's a great location with some really interesting lore and build up, and I look forward to paying off some of those stories. So I'm really excited about that. And then I'm also excited to take a look at some of the places that we've mentioned, but never really had a chance to dive into. One of those places in Near Space that's super cool is the Zandite Collective. The Zandite Collective, for those who don't know, is 8 worlds from 4 different systems. And a long time ago, they were struck by meteor showers and it rained magic crystals. And, using these crystals, they can communicate with each other from totally different systems. But anyway, a long time ago, one of them lost contact. They lost it. They don't know where that guy is. But anyway, so it's just a fun place with a lot of fun mystery. So later this year, around December, in the Starfinder Society, we're going to meet a Sheeran Starfinder who's kind of interested in exploring the Zandite Collective. So you can expect that we will, next season after that, we'll hang out with this Sheeran and go explore the Zandite Collective a little bit more. And I'm excited to go there, but also other similar places, right? Dig down into those places we haven't really given any spotlight to.
So when I was a child and well into adulthood, like I will be doing tonight after PaizoCon, I like to take little toy soldiers and make them go. So I, as a grown adult, want to take some of our civilizations and maybe toss up some dirt between them. We've been building up to some conflicts for a while. I mean, Octurne is is a location that was steeped in conflict. There were outer gods and the Dominion of the Black there. That's an interesting one. But then we have some bigger ones, like I don't know. We've got Star Aslant, the Star Aslanti Empire that maybe isn't has got some issues with the Vescarium right now. One of the things that I got to introduce in organized play back in my tenure there was the minor powers of the Gitaron Authority and the Marixa Republic, which we've been hinting at them going into a little tussle for a while. I want to see what happens when some of these conflicts are up. These are all things that are really exciting, and we talk about just because they're things that can really shake up the setting, and we're all very excited to explore them more. Obviously for me, I have some personal babies that I love. I love the Jinsouls and the Jinsoul Hierocracy. They showed up in season 1 of Starfinder Society. They became a very prominent villain. You'll be encountering them when the Scoured Stars hardback comes out in early 2024. That's going to be a compilation of that first season of Starfinder Society. That's going to reintroduce people who maybe haven't encountered the Jinsouls before, but you've seen them in Alien Archive 3. They're a threat that I remember designing them in a food court with my partner, being like, what if they were like spiders with eyes all over them? It was good times, very good times. But then they suddenly got art and beautiful minis, and oh my gosh, right? So it's always fun to see the evolution of some of those things. But I'll say one thing that I kind of threw out for our team as we were going through a lot of this, and it's something that I've got like a big investment in that I think we should be doing something with. I would also like to see us do something with this little unknown, well, not unknown, but this mysterious group that we maybe call the First Ones, that have a lot of steep lore in our setting. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They got some interesting stuff going on. So when we talk about these as a team, we really spend some time digging into what is going on in our setting and what interests us, what we want to focus on, where we want to take some of these stories. Mechageddon in many ways is actually a setup for some. It's like Mechageddon's going to have your story, but it's also going to set up some longer term stuff where we're like, we want some more things that are not just taken out in the same adventure they're brought in, but like gives us some faces to punch, so to speak. And we like having punchable faces for players to go and punch. So really, as we're going forward with like adventures and modules, we want to do things that are actually going to change the setting. We want to focus on stories that are going to have impact. So not just introducing a new place, having you resolve it, and then go home, but like, oh, hey, we did this thing and it caused some repercussions in the galaxy, or in the Pact worlds, or somewhere that's important to the player base and to the setting. But those ramifications can be used later on for other stories, and give players a way to get involved with our setting too. We have this big, wide setting. Letting the players get involved with some of these stories is really key to us. So that I think sums up a lot of what we've got right now. I'm gonna open the floodgates here. I'm gonna open it up for chat now. All right, we're reaching the Q&A portion of our time here. So what I'll ask is, if you have a question, I'm in chat. You can just @OnCallGM. That's me, and it'll highlight your message so I can see it. I'm fancy. I got double monitors. Yeah, I'm trying to take the burden off of our amazing marketing folks. Give them a break this panel. I got the question. So if you have a question, just @me at OnCallGM in the chat here in Twitch, and I will start answering because, well, not just me. I'll pass them on to my team. That's what being a manager is all about, by the way. Delegation. It's great. Even though I don't manage Jessica, but for this panel, sure.
I'll listen to you for the next 30 minutes.
Oh, perfect. I love it. I'll take it. Okay, I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to pass over to Jenny. If you get a story hook for the Mechageddon adventure, what's the story hook? Like, what's the in for the players here? How would you ballpark pitch this to someone?
It's a good question. Thank you for asking. So I would pitch this as you start out on Daimalco as members of the New Valor Defense Force. You are one of the brave heroes, or a group of the brave heroes who defend the city from Colossi, or as you probably know them, Kaiju. So you start from there, and there will certainly not be any shenanigans that take you off planet. Spoiler, you are going to get to explore the wider cosmos. You're going to get to go around near space a little bit into book 2. Book 3 is going to bring you back home to deal with another major threat that, again, I don't want to spoil too much about. But just basically think of book 1 as you are New Valor Defense Force. You are defending your planet from Kaiju.
All right, awesome. The next question, I'll take it. It's from Savage Oxygen. It is mechs versus starships in the new AP. I think the question's actually wrong. What if mech becomes starship? Question mark. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool if there was like some optional transforming mech rules that could transform into starships. That would cool. That'd be cool, right? Yeah,
that'd be neat.
That's in there, by the
TRDG. Will we update the port map as things develop? For my ongoing sanity, I don't think we will be updating that with our art people all the time. But I know that I have a copy of that map that I'm now like putting pins into. So as we introduce new things into the setting, or I find old things, we're going to be updating that map. I think the Ports of Call Galaxy map of Desna's Path is a really good starting point for our map, and it's a great thing for people to have to show off where things are in the setting. But next 5 years, maybe we do another map, and it has a lot more locations on it. I'm coming for you, Warhammer 40,000 maps. I'm coming for you with a lot of different locations. But yeah, no, that's definitely something we need to look at going forward. I'm going to give this next one to... I'll put Dustin on the hold for this one. From Ravian, planner book when, Dustin?
All right. So one of my big goals when I was interviewed by Thirsty to join the team here was I want to see more fantasy. I want to see more magic. I want to see more planar stuff. So it is definitely on my radar. I like everything from shooting spells out of guns to channeling the cosmos and doing all that kind of cool galactic magic stuff, and I definitely want to see more, and that definitely includes the planes. I really looking forward to Rage of Elements, and love what Starfinder has done with the Akashic Records, and just all these different cool ideas of I don't know, seeing a Gatheon with a laser rifle, you name it, all these kind of cool things. Definitely want to touch on that, and want to do it. I'm all for it.
Heck yeah. Go through a couple of these real quick ones. Is there an official release date for Mechageddon? Currently spring 2024, so look forward to that. Can we have skitter mechs? We have skitter mechs at home. Let's see. Starfinder Enhanced Spill the Beans. We will be spilling the beans. Myself, Jessica, Dustin, and John Compton will be doing another panel on Sunday called Starfinder Nuts and Bolts. I think that's at 3 p.m. No, I think that's 2 p.m. It's on the schedule. But we'll be doing the Nuts and Bolts panel where we will be diving in and going through the rules pretty in depth, I would say. So look forward to that one. Here's one. I'm gonna give this question to Jessica specifically. I know it's probably meant for all of us, but we got a lot of questions, y'all. You're asking a lot of questions. It's good though. Giving this one to Jessica though. How does moment designing for Starfinder? Yeah, developing as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when I first started, within my first week, it was like, hey, welcome, cool, launch a season. So my proudest moment is going okay and planning and launching a season right away. Toss me in the deep end. That was last year, and that was the launch of the Year of Redemption's Rise. And this year we're launching the next one, Year of Fortune's Fall. I'm also excited, but getting to do that first one, especially so soon, was really exciting.
I think all of us who've been involved in the org play program feel you on that. Will
Quite the
APs be
start.
yes? Will older APs be compiled into hardbacks? Time will tell. Time will tell. There's certainly some potential for that in the future. Anti-starship rules for mechs, maybe. I mean, part of the thing of doing these types of APs is to see how well people like mechs and how much more mech stuff they want. Maybe that's why we did a little module called "To Defy the Dragon," which you can also go and get that has mech stuff. That gives us a gauge. I'm not going to acknowledge Wingbreaker's question. He's in my home game, so he doesn't count in this chat. Let's see what else. If there was a Star Chamber Battle Royale fight, who would win and why is it Jenny? From my boss, Adam Daigle. Thank you, Adam. Jenny, would you like to explain why you would win the Battle Royale? This is why everyone loves Starfinder, because we have the most fun here. Hey, why? And if you don't answer it, I'm going to make Dustin answer why you'd win the Battle Royale. So get on this, Jenny.
I feel like Jenny is super scrappy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I can't be, but I would want to fight the team. They're amazing. Oh, no.
What if it was evil clones of the team? And then you had to win.
Ooh. Oh, don't put me in that situation. Oh, that's rough.
Alternate universe. There's some witch weapon stuff going on. Okay, we got another wave here. Okay. So, any chance we will see a return of the Swarm? Well, they've never left. They've been around. There is that Attack of the Swarm adventure path that's out there where you can see what they're doing. But if we're talking about in the future, the team has actually had quite a few discussions about the Swarm and what we could do that would be very, very interesting and spice things up a little bit. We're very passionate about the Swarm. I think, one problem the Swarm has right now is that it is a very binary, it eats the Pact worlds or it's not eating the Pact worlds problem, and we're gonna investigate that going forward. We have some cunning plans. Let's see here. Gnolls are my favorite race ever, but there's so little about them in Starfinder. Small lore drop ? Hey, Dustin.
Yeah?
Are you gonna maybe see Gnolls in something coming up?
I'm going to make sure that there will be Gnolls in something coming up at some point or another. I like Gnolls a lot. Gnolls are cool. Especially love all the different new types of Gnolls that we got and new ways of looking at Gnolls in on the Pathfinder side of things has really helped inspire some alternative uses for Gnolls other than the more obvious stuff like space piracy. I would love to see Gnolls just as your friendly neighborhood, vid game shop owner or butcher happens to also be a Gnoll, and that's pretty cool.
I was waiting for you to make a Spider-Man reference there. It seemed like friendly neighborhood, and then I was like, uh-oh. Jessica, you're saying?
I'd like to point out that if you'd like to see Gnolls, you should come to the panel on Sunday, because there sure is some Gnolls in Starfinder Enhanced we can talk about.
Yeah, there's a whole page. It's a whole page. I was just as you were both doing that, I was pulling up the enhanced PDF to make sure I wasn't having some fever dream memory of Gnolls being in there. But they are. Hey, look at that. There's your spoiler. You're gonna get Gnolls in there.
I was allowed to talk about those.
Yeah, well,
anyway.
Yeah, what it is. When will we hear more about Starfinder Enhanced? On Sunday, and on Sunday we're going to give you more details about that book than is probably reasonable for a company to give this early before a book. But unless like Adam Daigle or Eric Mona comes to my house and drags me out, you're going to get those spoilers, y'all. Are the mechs in Starfinder inspired by animes or other mech properties in particular? Giving that one right to Jenny, because that's a mech question right there.
Well, I mean, I can answer that partly. I know that a lot of the original mechs that we have in Tech Revolution were more of a result, I think, of the art team just kind of jamming and having fun, drawing some cool stompy robots and whatnot. And the current team going through it and like kind of, you know, working with art. So I'm sure there is some inspiration. For my part, I'm definitely very inspired by like a lot of mecha anime, but there are not direct equivalents, obviously. The original ones, though, I think it's like a little bit of everything, right? Like a little bit of all sorts of mechs and just kind of our own special touch as Starfinder. Because if you look, there's definitely, we have these like skitter tank looking mechs, which are like nothing you would have ever seen anywhere except for in Starfinder. So it's a nice little hodgepodge of influences and our own unique twist.
Wasn't that at one point called the Warmander? Because I remember it was the skitter tank, and then there was the Warmander, and I'm like, yes, first of all.
Also, I'm pretty sure it's actually the Warmander, and it was the skitter tank.
Yes. Oh, okay, good. Having been in those meetings, I will say one of the coolest things at Paizo is getting to work with Kent Hamilton, our concept artist. So we actually had some meetings where Kent was there with like Photoshop up and a tablet and was just like, I'm gonna like sketch out a corpse fleet mech. And I remember he was presenting them, and I'm like, could we give it more awful centipede legs? And he's like, can we? And he would stretch it out, and it would add it more. It was excellent. And working with Kent, there's some stuff we will be showing in the coming months, I'm sure, that Kent has been working on for Starfinder content that will just blow your socks off, everybody. But that's one of the fun joys, I think, of, you know, getting to do things like art for mechs. Keep on going. Galarian World one shot. If you want an amusement park based one shot, you're gonna have to, I'm sorry, settle for our recently announced Operation Seaside Park that's coming out. Which is like if you had budget Galarian World that I believe is on Castrovel.
Yes.
That gets overrun by the Swarm. There you go. Because, you know, we couldn't drop the Swarm in Galarian World right after we introduced it. That would be wrong. Also, I'm making fun because Jenny absolutely wrote that and did a great job. I had to do
the Swarm couldn't afford the Galarian World tickets. They had to go for the budget option.
They had to go to Operation Seaside Park.
Yes.
Are there any math? Oh, good.
I don't have any Starfinder Society scenarios to announce at Galarian World, for the record. Let me preface this with that. But I do love Galarian World, and it would be foolish for the Starfinder Society never to go do something cool there. So, in time.
I want a whole adventure. I want you to release an adventure, call it the Test of the Starstone, and have them go to Galarian World and undertake the Test of the Starstone, and then we'll just be like, sorry, Pathfinder, we beat you to it.
That would be great. I also want to make a portion where all the PCs have to dress as mascots, and they should have to endure being mascots at Galarian World for a little while, because that'd be fun.
That could be part of the Test of the Starstone. This is also how we create content, by the way. This exact gremlin energy is what your Starfinder team brings to the table, right? Let's see here. Going through a few more. Are there massive collections of space habitats left behind by precursors and published material? I think there are all sorts of things out there that we have from precursor civilizations, like the first ones, the Kish, the Civ. Dustin, you got a hand
Avalon?
up? Oh yeah, Avalon is a pretty solid example of that. Yeah, absolutely. I wrote that. I should have immediately been on that. Let's see. Are there going to be any mech-based player archetypes and themes in the book? We'll talk more about player options for Mechageddon as we get closer, but I think there'll be a lot of interesting content for that book. I don't want to get into all the specifics here. It's still a ways out, and I got to keep some options. Any chance of some playable stats for the Zandite species? You know what? If we want to go there, it seems real smart for us to probably do some stuff like that. So I would expect that would be something we'd be following up on. Back to the Perplexity anytime soon. No, the Perplexity is closed for a while because I just don't have time to write more adventures for it right now because, in charge of the creative visioning. But we'll get back there. For those of you who don't know, the Perplexity is an awful, terrible dungeon on the grounds of the Starfinder Society's Lorespire complex where nothing bad happens except everything bad happens. Here's one I'm going to make all of us answer. From Sebastian, who's your favorite NPC in all of Starfinder for whom you would see the world burn? Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
I got one.
Who is the treasured? All right, Jessica, lay it on.
Zigvigix from the Starfinder Society. Ziggy is wonderful. They ran the Exo Guardians for a while. Now they're running the Advocates. They just want to hang out with their girlfriend and listen to some awesome sugar pop music and just make the world a better place for all their Starfinders. Poor Ziggy.
Good answer. Good answer. Jenny?
If anything happens to Strawberry Machine Cake, any one. No, honestly, it's funny because there are so many NPCs that I love, but Invar Tam is like my weird son that's like out doing space shenanigans now, and like, yeah, it's like, oh, that's my boy. But I enjoy to see his continued adventures in Starfinder Society. So thanks for that, Jessica, and Starfinder Society writers.
Nice, Dustin.
I will use this as an opportunity to promote the comics, and today my answer happens to be I really like the Spectre on there. It was nicknamed Rutabaga, and I really like Kazgadai and Chick Chick a lot. So feel free to take either of those answers, and I'm going to go ahead and post a link to the Kickstarter to the comics in chat because I think the comics are really cool.
Chick Chick. All right, I'm going to go with, obviously, the only right answer, which is Jules Akama, our Vesk pawnbroker.
Oh, yeah.
Who, when we got, like, one of the earliest art pieces for Starfinder is just, like, a Vesk in a muscle shirt. I'm like, yeah, sweet. Beautiful.
Oh, it's not even a clean muscle shirt. It's dirty.
Not even a clean one. No, it's Jules Akama just is a Vesk trying to make it in the mean streets of Absalom Station. Dustin,
I completely forgot. Datch. I really like Datch.
Datch. Everyone likes Datch. Good villain makes everything. All right, we're coming close. I know there's still like a bunch more questions. All of us have AMAs, by the way. Feel free to drop your questions into our AMAs. We're gonna be answering them. I'm like lightning rounding. What question do I not want to be asked during this panel? I think you know the question. Do I have playlists for development? Okay, lately it's been like, for me, it's been Super Meat Boy, Doom, and Red Alert. Really just like a very odd combo of music. Just odd stuff. I'm sure, did you all? Okay, real quick, lightning round. Jenny, what's your music?
It's usually like Drakengard or Nier soundtrack or Macross most of the time, but it varies.
Jessica? Lightning round.
Lately, I have My Chemical Romance and Baby Metal. I've been listening to a lot lately.
Oh, nice. Dustin, what do you got?
Various soundtracks. Miyavi, I've been really liking a lot because he brings the bass.
Nice. Okay, everybody. We kind of need to give our next group their lead in, but we'll again be answering questions in our AMAs all weekend. I know I'm going to be active tomorrow, but before we do our outros, there's one thing. Okay. Remember when I said Nostradamus here makes predictions? All right, Nostradamus,
Nostradamus.
buddy. What do you got? What do you got for me? Nostradamus is a bit shy, so I gotta listen. Oh, okay. Yep. Good job, Nostradamus. Nostradamus says, for those of you who are looking for maybe some real big Starfinder announcements, you should be taking a look for this coming Gen Con. We're going to be announcing some more big news that's going to be starting on August 3rd or around that area. Because a lot of people have been wondering what we've been working on because we've been fairly mysterious about it. Now, I do want to combat some people who are like, well, there's not much being announced for Starfinder. Trust me, Gen Con is the place to come for the announcement, the big announcements for Starfinder after Mechageddon. And in fact, we didn't want to leave you hanging and just give you like a vague, there'll be mechs in the future like we did last year. And we paid off on it this year, everybody. But this time we come prepared. This year, we've brought art. Let's take a look at this piece from Mirko. Look at that gorgeous piece of cover art. And all I'm going to say is we have some stuff coming in the future, everybody. Please keep an eye on Starfinder. We have amazing stuff coming. Gen Con is going to really kick us off for a lot of our future content after Mechageddon. We'll be getting you more news then. We wanted to make sure that the remaster had its breathing room here, but trust me, Starfinder has a lot coming, and our team has been hard at work on so many things. Anyways, with that, I'm gonna get my team to do their outros real quick. I'll make it difficult again. I'll start with Jessica in the middle, actually. Bam, Tech. That's right. And then I'll.
You can ask me any questions you like this weekend on my Ask Me Anything thread on the PaizoCon Discord server. And you can follow me on Twitter at D20Diaries.
You can ask me anything on my AMA on Discord, or you can follow me on Twitter at Warlock Kitsune. I will be at the Infinite Possibilities panel and the Starfinder Nuts and Bolts panel throughout the weekend.
Hey, and I will be around Discord as well. I do have an Ask Me Anything thread on the Paizo Events Discord. I'm also on Twitter. I believe it's actually at Space Princess J now. Sorry, I changed that and totally forgot to tell them to change it. But I will be around and look forward to hearing stories about your characters and your, send me your playlists and whatnot. I don't know. Anyway, hi.
And hi, my name's Thurston Hillman. You can find me on all the things at On Call GM, along with doing all of the Starfinder and Paizo work. I also am a GM for the Narrative Declaration channel on Twitch. We've actually got a show happening, this weekend too. So you can come check that out, and mostly on our YouTube though. But yeah, thank you everyone. I have an AMA. I'll be answering questions all weekend. I'll be hanging out with everyone in the digital bar later tonight, and then tomorrow, and probably Sunday after my show. And our panel, our Nuts and Bolts panel, we have on Sunday at 1 p.m. PST. I think I've got that right. Really appreciate all of the questions. Really appreciate all of the positivity. Trust me, we have some banger news coming, but get hyped for Mechageddon right now, because that is going to be the start of a lot of good things to come. Thanks everyone, and we will see you in the far future of space. Also Nostradamus. Bye.
Bye.